We are
The Network Blender.
Welcome to the Network Blender, our April episode. We're excited to have you here. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and we're going to share a little bit more about that with the local blend with Kim Johnson hosting. Then we're going to talk a little bit about runoff elections that are coming up and so many other things that are important to our politics and things going on in our community. That will be hosted by Scott Dodson with the Spin Cycle. The Network Mixer at the end of the month is so important to all of us. We love the Network Mixer, and our beautiful Maya Krause handles that episode for us. So stay tuned for more. We have very special guests today with Selah Creek, Kevin and Ashley Potts. Their personal story is amazing. So I recommend that you go online, selahcreek.org, read their story. It's amazing. But today, we're going to ask them all the things of what's going on behind the scenes, what that program looks like. So welcome to the episode, More Than a Home, a movement of hope and healing. So stay tuned. There's more to come.
Hi, I am Kim Johnson with the Local Blend. And today, Rockwall County Real Estate is stepping into the post-Easter season with a different rhythm. It's no longer rushed, it's strategic. Prices are holding strong overall, especially in lifestyle and luxury segments. Negotiating with intention, inventory has opened up, which means opportunity is back on the table for those who know how to position themselves. This isn't a market that slows down, it's a market maturing. And those who understand it, they're the ones who are winning right now. And guess what? April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. Go Blue for Kids is in full swing. For me, this isn't just awareness, it's personal. I adopted a child who experienced abuse and neglect starting at just 6 months old. That kind of pain changes life before it even begins. In Rockwall County, confirmed abuse cases happen more often than we like to think, and that's only the ones that we know about. Across Texas, thousands of children suffer every year, many of them under the age of 3. Behind every number is a child who needed someone to notice, someone to step in, and that's what this month is about. If you feel called to help, connect with local organizations such as Lone Star Casa, the Children's Advocacy Center, or Rainbow Room. And you can always reach out to the Network Blender at thenetworkblender@gmail.com, because this isn't just awareness, it's a moment to show up, to protect, and to be the reason a child's story turns out differently. In our nonprofit sector, guess what? We have Lakeside Ambucks, and if you have never heard about Lakeside Ambucks, you're missing out. We're gonna have bourbon, bingo, and barbecue. And because we're on the committee, it's amazing. You're gonna know it. It's gonna be at 501 Yacht Club on April the 10th from 6:30 p.m. to 10. And you do not wanna miss this event. It's gonna be the finest of bourbons and a great game of bingo. And it helps children with disabilities and adults with disabilities to have mobility. We would love to see you at the community concert for Selah Creek. Selah Creek is an incredible nonprofit organization, and this is going to be on Saturday, April 18th at 6:30 p.m. We've got live bands, we have delicious barbecue by Eddie Dean's, and it's only $35, so grab a ticket and come on out. If you'd like more information, reach out to us, email or DM us. Another spectacular nonprofit event is the Rockwall Art League and the Greater Rockwall Youth Symphony, and we are hosting the Golden Age of Glamour. So save the date. It's May the 1st. If you would like to sponsor, buy a ticket, or just come on out and sit with someone and enjoy the event. It's beautiful music, wonderful art, and a great way to give something back to the community that keeps kids from behind the screen and puts them more into the arts. And that's a wonderful thing. You can never go wrong. Another exciting event is Hill Court. It's not just local, it is global. And Hill Court being a global event, we are hosting the Black Tie and Boots, and it's on Saturday, May the 9th, 2026, from 6:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. And if you've ever had a family member that needed search and rescue, this is probably the company that came in. So look on YouTube, Look them up, come and join us, buy a ticket, look for sponsorship, or even a gift in kind. You can also email us or reach out to us. And guess what's coming soon? Concerts by the lake. Bands from around the DFW area come and rock the harbor Thursday evenings from May through July from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The harbor, it's the premier destination district for music entertainment, fine dining, vacationing in a picturesque setting, offering a magnificent water feature and the serenity of Lake Ray Hubbard against a backdrop of breathtaking sunsets. Last but not least, please do not forget and pencil it in, grab your calendar because the network mixer is May the 27th at 4:30 p.m. at Shenanigans in the Z Lounge. Bring your business cards, be prepared to mix, mingle, and have a great time and meet everybody from the Network Blender podcast. Again, I am Kim Johnson with the Local Blend, and thank you for tuning in today.
Hi, I'm Scott Dodson with the Network Blender. I'm your host of the Spin Cycle. Today I'm going to talk about two things. The first item I'm going to talk about is the loss of local control for zoning. Last year in the 89th legislative agenda, the Texas legislature voted to remove local zoning authority for municipalities over 300,000 people. While Rockwall County has been bracketed out of that, as we only have about 150,000 residents, here's what that means. That means if you live in one of those communities, local zoning control is now being taken care of out of Austin. Imagine this. Imagine cluster homes, zero lot lines, imagine high density housing, even Section 8 housing completely out of your control wherever and whenever somebody can do development. These are the types of things that I think we really need to fight against. Because while we're being bracketed out of that particular category today, in the 90th legislative agenda session coming up this year, we could also be held subject to the removal of local zoning control. I think the last thing that we need is somebody from Austin telling us how we can develop our communities. So if you're against this type of legislative agenda, please contact our state representative, Katrina Pearson, or our state senator, Bob Hall. Thank you very much for that. And I've got to tell you, we need to preserve local zoning control within the county of Rockwall. One of the other large things on the upcoming 90th legislative agenda is property tax reform. Now let me go on the record and say that no one, including me, wants to pay property taxes in perpetuity for the house and the land that they own. I can also say that I know that all of these property taxes go for things such as fire, police, EMS coverage, all of your garbage and all of your waste management, all of your water infrastructure, and also road repairs, in addition to other things that our cities and our counties provide. Now, what we're being told is that local municipalities are putting an increased burden on the citizens. And I can definitively tell you that after 4 years of doing local budgetary processes, that's absolutely not the case. I can also definitively say that the vast majorities of our representatives in the state legislature and our state senators have never had to look at a local budget and be accountable for that budget to dictate where every penny has gone against all of the things that budget was set up to deliver. Here's what that means for you and me. In every local municipality in Rockwall County, all of the 5 cities within a Rockwall County, 60% of our operating budget is for police and fire. What the state is telling us is that they believe that they can do a better job of controlling and using those dollars than we can at a local level. I, for one, do not believe that that's really the case at all. I believe that we need to stand firm with local control, that we need to be able to manage our budgets accordingly, and the state needs to be able to manage the state budget accordingly. I think that whenever the government comes and knocks on your door and tells you that they're there to help, you need to be very wary of that person that's making that statement. From my perspective, local control is the key for us to preserve the type of life that we want and the type of protection that we deserve in our cities and municipalities in Rockwall County. If you believe like I do, I encourage you to contact your state representative, Katrina Pearson, and our local senator, Bob Hall, and let them know how you feel about the use of property taxes and the use of overall reform. I can also say that there's probably a better way to do property taxes. Right now, the things that are being considered on the state level are that if you remove property taxes, you take a significant increase in sales tax, or you take a significant increase in something called a consumption tax. It's a left pocket, right pocket thing. So just because property taxes may be reduced or going away doesn't mean that they're not going to be replaced by another form of taxation. You have to be educated, you have to ask questions, and you have to be careful, because when one thing happens, it can trigger another effect on the other side of the ledger. So I'm Scott Dodson, I'm your host of the Spin Cycle, and please be inquisitive about the decisions that are being made in the state and in Austin, Texas on your behalf. Thanks very much.
Today, we have the incredible honor of introducing to you the owners, the founders of Selah Creek, a place where hope is not just a word, but a living, breathing refuge. So we're excited to have you here today. What makes Selah Creek truly powerful is the deeper vision driving it all. I read your story. It was so good. A vision to see lives completely transformed. And today, we get to hear from the founders who said yes to a calling a very long time ago. So welcome, Ashley and Kevin Potts.
Thank
We're
you.
glad that you're here today. Are you excited?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Excited.
Always.
Share
Nervous.
your story. That's okay, don't be
I'm
nervous.
Oh, it's okay.
He'll settle in. It's okay.
We have some questions for you we've put together. We're going to kind of tag team a little bit, but one of the first things that came to mind, because I knew nothing about Selah Creek. Kim kept talking about Selah Creek, and I've met you at many different things, and I was like, I didn't even know what words she was saying. I didn't even know. And so after reading your story, what was the moment that you knew this wasn't just an idea, but it was just something that you couldn't ignore and you had to do something?
So I'll shorten it because we'll be here for a while, but the Lord put Selah Creek on my heart. And driving to work one morning, I heard the Lord say, I want you to build a home for moms and babies. And
Nice.
It was just as clear as us sitting here today. And I knew at that moment. I think it became real for us after probably in the next years we watched the Lord just show up in ways and make himself very known, and it being very clear.
Awesome.
This is what I'd like for you to do.
Awesome.
Love hearing that. I'm very curious. What did people misunderstand most about your vision in the early days?
Well, oh, sorry.
No,
Go ahead.
So we have to kind of go back probably 20 or 30 years when we're talking about maternity housing, because originally when maternity housing started, it was very shame-based. So it was the girls who, this is their language, not mine, fell pregnant, and they needed to leave their town so that nobody knew. It was very secret. They couldn't use their real name. They used an alias name. It was very shame-based. And so over the last 30 years, we have come so far in maternity housing where we are actually able to just walk and do life with our moms, but we are not necessarily seeing the women. My maternity housing mentor, she called them choir girls, where they just, they grew up in a great home and they had a 2-parent home and they just got pregnant and needed a place to escape, then they would go back to their lives. What we're seeing and what we always knew, especially based on our story, was that we wanted to love and serve the moms who had nobody. They didn't have a single person that was in their corner, that they could call if they needed something or if they were in trouble. And so the misunderstanding that we really wanted to passionately bring to the table was that we really want to go after the women who have no support.
Love
awesome.
that.
Well, okay, so that brings me to, if you could go back to year one when you started the organization, what would you have done completely different?
Bless. That is a loaded question.
She said bless.
Okay, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
Love it.
What could I go back and what would I go back?
Why
and
don't you
change?
talk a little bit more too about what is Selah Creek, and then tell me what would you have
Okay.
done a little different.
Yes, so Selah Creek is a gospel-centered maternity home in Rockwall County for women facing an unplanned or unsupported pregnancy.
Okay.
And our goal, our vision for each mom is for them to come into our home and have a place of safety where they can rest and heal and plan for their future. We give them tools to begin to dream and set goals for themselves. We want them to be as independent as they possibly can be when they move out of our home, whether it's through parenting or placing for adoption. We walk that road with them every step of the way. But our number one goal is to teach the gospel and to share the gospel in word and deed with every single woman so that her life is transformed and then her children's lives are transformed for generations.
All
So
right.
that's our biggest goal.
Okay. So what would you have done different?
What would I have done differently? So I think I would have, I'll speak for both of us. Can I speak for both of us? Okay.
You're the wife. You get to say whatever you want.
Yes, dear.
Good answer.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tricky thing when the Lord puts something so specific on your heart, right? It's very tricky. There were so many times where I was like, did we hear the Lord correctly? Like, did we make that up? I think we made that up. There's no way that that's what God is asking us to do. And so then it became for me almost like a burden that I felt like it was on our shoulders. Okay, God told us to do this. Now we need to go and make this happen. What I wish I would have done and what I am so passionate about now is it's just about taking the next right step. So you ask
Yes.
God what to do and then you do that thing.
Yeah.
And then you ask God what to do next and you do that thing. Instead of looking at it like, God gave us this mission, now we need to go into the community and execute it. It's literally just step by step with the Lord, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So, what personal experiences shaped how Selah Creek serve women today?
Okay, I'll tell that one.
Go for it.
Okay. So when I was 19, Kevin and I had an on-again, off-again relationship all throughout my high school years. And when I was 19 years old, we broke up and ended our relationship, well, we thought indefinitely.
It was over at that point.
It was over at that point. And then
So we thought.
and then 2 weeks later, I found out that I was pregnant.
Wow.
And so I was barely 20 years old. When I was 19 years old, I had no vision, no dreams, no goals for my life. It felt like I was just trying something and failing miserably. And I was headed down a path of total destruction up until that point. And that is the moment that the Lord saved my life when I found out I was pregnant with our oldest child, who's 24 now. We had a community of people around us who were incredible. I have a mom and 3 older sisters. They paced the floors with me at night. They taught me everything about breastfeeding, parenting, crying, colic, and as well as Kevin's family, we had a community of people. And then we ended up reconciling and getting married, having 3 more kids. And when after our youngest daughter was born, we felt the Lord was pushing on us, pressing on us to do more in our community. And the question that we kept discussing was, we had so many people rally around us during our unplanned pregnancy. We were very supported. What about the women who are unsupported?
Yeah.
Who do they go to? How do they have help? And so we exist here, one, because the Lord saved our lives through this process, but also because we had people who poured out grace upon grace for us. I mean, they walked through all of our mistakes with us. And so we wanted to be that for someone else. That's
Awesome.
And one
Okay.
thing, and I'll add to that, is what we saw from our support group was like there was no judgment. There was no judgment. There was no shame. They weren't embarrassed. They congratulated us. They were not ashamed of our child. And that was a big deal for us.
That was big.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So what is the hardest, the most difficult emotional decision that you have had to make as a founder of Selah Creek?
The most
Difficult, the most emotionally difficult decision that you've had to make as a founder?
I think as founders, you take the weight of the organization, of the mission, of the vision, and you take off running 90 miles an hour, running around trying to do everything, be everywhere, get everything done. instead of really stopping and looking around and seeing the people who are around you, who are willing to help. But of course, you know, you're the founder, so you have this, you feel like you can run forever.
Yeah.
And eventually you run out of gas.
Yeah.
Well, that was my next question. How do you personally carry the weight of the stories that you hear without burning out?
It's hard. Some stories are easier to listen to and to process with someone, and every story that you hear is an opportunity to decide if you're going to help them process through or if you're going to let it make you angry on their behalf. And so there have been countless times that I have gone home and said, I told my husband, I don't know if I can do this anymore. This is so heartbreaking. Except that the Lord wakes you up the next morning and gives you a new renewed vision and passion for it. And the women that I have met over the course of the last 10 years are hands down the strongest women I've ever met. And that's what helps me keep going, and a good therapist. I would like to add that. I think a really good therapist.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody should have a therapist on call, I think.
Yes.
All right. Well, what's something about this work that people really do romanticize, but don't truly know the reality of what's going on?
You know, I think when you're in the community and you're talking about, yes, we have a maternity home for pregnant women who have an unsupported pregnancy, they think, wow, that is so cool. What a blessing for those moms to have a place to go. And yes, that is true. That is 100% true. But one of the things that I like to share with people, facing an unsupported pregnancy is one of the most vulnerable places you'll ever be. Then in addition to finding out that you're pregnant unexpectedly, you look around every person that you know, and every person in your family, and every single person in your sphere of influence, and you recognize there is not one safe person here who will walk with me through this. That is a very deeply vulnerable, sad experience. And so one of the things that I like to share with people is how hard it is to be a resident moving into a maternity home. And so we like to hold space for both. They may be excited, but this may also be the most difficult decision they've ever made in their lives. And we want to hold space for every emotion, not just expect them to be so thankful and excited that they're moving into a home with total strangers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And this is kind of a double question, but have you ever doubted whether you could keep the doors open, and what got you through that season?
He started to laugh.
Other than the event that we have coming up, we'll tell you about later.
Yes. From the beginning.
Every day.
Every day. So from the beginning, it was, how in the world are we going to do this? We're not independently wealthy. And the Lord has shown up. Like, we have continually watched him show up every single time without fail. And we may get down to the last day, but he shows up. And it has been a season really truly of dependence, you know, relying on him to keep the doors open. Like, he loves his moms and his babies. He loves his widows and his orphans, and he knows where we are, and he's shown up. And it has been really watching him. Like, there's been some incredible moments where in the middle of a sentence about, we need this, the phone rings, and there it is.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that's remembering that our God is a God of miracles. We serve a God of miracles, even today. And just like he said, we had a situation 2 weeks ago where we were just processing through something, and we're like, Lord, we need you to show up right now. And the phone rang in the middle of the conversation. That's happened to us multiple times. And it's not just about financial support. It's about having the people who are qualified and equipped to come in and walk with us as we walk with women. There's so many aspects and dynamics to, can we keep doing this? And over and over and over again, every time we ask that question, God says yes.
That's awesome.
Love it.
What does a really difficult day look like at Selah Creek?
That depends on who you ask.
Watching your wife walk in the door and go, I don't know if I can do this anymore. That's a difficult day.
Yeah, it's a hard day.
I mean, there's just so, like I said, there's so many aspects to it. A difficult day, you know, we match our women step for step, meaning whatever they want to do with their lives, we put all of our resources and energy into matching them step for step. But to be clear, we are serving women who are escaping domestic violence, who are recovering from addiction, who have trauma, who may have been trafficked in their younger years. And so sometimes they don't believe in themselves the way that we believe in them, which means that on occasion, we have a mom who comes in and she is doing amazing work, and then one day she wakes up and says, I really want to go back to my abuser.
Yeah.
And watching them walk out the door is one of the most difficult things that I have ever done in my entire life. And then you have to go back and remember that your job is to plant seeds. You're a seed planter, and you don't get to say how long they stay. You don't get to say how successful they get to be. All you get to do is plant seeds of faith and belief in them, and they have to walk that out with the Lord when they leave. And so that's how you keep going.
Wow.
What's one operational challenge most donors or supporters would be surprised by?
Operational challenge. One of our
Which one?
I know, I got top 5. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, and really, honestly, truly, I mean, one of the biggest hurdles that we've had for 11 years is funding. We don't take federal money because they won't allow Jesus in our home.
Oh,
And we'd rather have Jesus than their money. Since COVID, giving is down. And so operational challenges is funding. And again, the Lord shows up.
yeah.
He shows up and he is good and he is faithful. But, you know, that has been probably the biggest challenge is having businesses that give regularly to where we're not constantly always having to chase money. Because again, we
Or have events.
have
So
events or chase money. Like we would rather spend our time and our energy serving mamas and babies rather than having another event to raise funds. And then when that one's over, we're already working on the next one. Well, what if we spent those hours? What if we spent those hours serving moms and babies? How many more moms and babies can we serve?
Yeah.
And so I think that's our biggest thing, and that's where the change this year came with, again, legacy donors. And if people want to find out more about that, they can. But we're really trusting the Lord to bring those businesses, and so that we can do away with having so many fundraisers
Yeah.
and really spending that time rather on fundraisers than serving moms and babies.
Very nice. You talked a minute ago about the type of women that you have coming, getting out of domestic violence, walking away from abusive situations, maybe addiction, maybe human trafficking, all of those things. So how do you balance structure and grace when working with those women?
He's leaning back. He's like, you take that one.
Yeah, that's a you question.
Yeah, so we are a program. We are a long-term program. And so we have boundaries. And we bring that honestly out of Scripture. God is not a God of chaos, but of order. And so the kind thing for us to do is provide order in our structure and our maternity home so that our women can be successful. And so we have boundaries. We have certain things that we can and cannot allow. And everything else is grace. Everything else is this an opportunity to show grace and kindness to them, or do we have to hold fast to this boundary? And so we have a very clear definition of staff and volunteers of what we can and cannot do. And we try to keep it as a short list because life is messy and hard, and everything else is grace.
That was actually my question was, what qualities do you look for in staff and volunteers that go beyond skills, etc.? I know Maya and I on the show are helping you in various areas. And I was just curious about what, in case someone hears this today and is like, how can I help? What are you looking for?
So for staff's a little bit different than volunteers. For staff, our most important thing is emotional intelligence. Somebody who is a learner, who wants to learn and grow. Somebody who wants to be a team player, and someone with compassion. So those are our biggest.
Teachable.
And it's teachable.
Teachable
yes.
spirits.
Yes, being teachable is very important. We say stay curious, ask questions. That's what we try to do with each other. As far as volunteers go, we have several different levels of volunteers. We have some in the maternity home who we do more training with them on trauma and understanding our clients and their babies and their families and things like that. So what we look for with them is very similar to staff. But we have volunteer opportunities, for anybody. If you are passionate about women and children and you want to jump in and serve, we probably can find a spot for you, even if it's on our prayer team.
Awesome.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I know you can't give us names.
Okay.
Not what I'm asking. But can you share a moment, just a story, of when you saw a shift in one of the moms or one of the people that you were caring for? What was that turning point for them?
We've seen so many.
So many.
We were actually talking about it. We were in the car last night. We were just throwing out names between us and we could tell this story and that story. And what I want to tell you is that one of my most significant turning point stories with a mom was very, very small, and I will never forget it for the rest of my life. She liked to move around a lot, state to state, city to city. She would bounce all over the place, and she would start over all of the time. And we were asking questions and observing, and we really couldn't quite put our finger on the reason why. And one day I was in the home, and I was doing the dishes, and she was sweeping the floor. And she was talking about how she was so proud of herself for starting over and being an adventurer and just trying new things. And I felt the Lord say to me, you have to push in here. And I was terrified, you guys. I was literally shaking because I thought to myself, okay, but if I do and I push in too hard, she's going to retreat. And so I just took a deep breath and I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to ask her. And I said, what if your pride in jumping all over the place, moving cities, traveling, is really you running from what's really going on here and what God is trying to teach you? And
Did you use the word runner?
I
So
did.
she was a runner.
I used that word with her. She was a runner. I said, what if running, what if your sense of adventure and starting over in new towns is actually you running from what God has for you? And she stopped and she turned her head and looked at me, and I thought to myself, oh,
Here she goes.
oh no. And she said, you are right. I'm running from my life. And from that moment on, I saw a shift in her where she started to go to the Lord, go and ask God, what do you have for me next? And it was a pivotal moment in her life. And it wasn't me that said it. It was just us having this conversation and me trying to draw things out of her. And I saw it as a pivotal moment for her. And I don't think that she thought of herself that way. So that was a cool experience.
So that it was
awesome.
Just perfect timing.
It was
Perfect
good
where she
timing.
was ready to receive what you had to say.
I think
That's
so.
what I'm hearing from you. What I would love to know, and everybody would love to know, is what is a story that gives you chills when you think about it? Just what story?
Chills. Do you have one that comes to mind?
I mean, I can tell you a good chills story.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I mean, have you walked into a room and watched a baby be born? That is like the most chilling experience, watching a mom who has literally fought for her life for 7 months. Then she gets into the delivery room and you get to watch her bring a life into the world. I'm getting chills right now just talking about
Yeah.
it. I will never not have chills about that. Never.
So every single time it's like the first time for you.
Oh my goodness. And then those tiny little toes, I mean,
Yeah.
every time.
I would say real quickly, one for me is a mom who, we've had moms who come in who've never sat down for a family meal, ever. We've had moms who come in and are so excited because when they come into their room and we welcome them, there's a note, there's a welcome basket, there's a robe, there's slippers, there's a
People in the
shampoo,
community
and
who
right
care.
people in the community who care. Have provided these things, and they walk into the room. And we had a mom who not too long ago who was so excited about her slippers. She had never had slippers. Like she'd never had slippers, and there she's like, I can't believe that like you guys do this for me. That you guys would do this for me.
It's wonderful.
And I think that, like, to me, that gives me chills.
And I think, I can't believe I get to see this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I get to be in the room when I'm watching someone experience this for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you learn from these women that you really didn't expect to learn?
I did not expect to be changed literally from the inside out. Walking with these women has given me a drive and a passion for advocating with women and teaching them how to advocate for themselves and their children. But it's changed every single aspect of my life. From they have taught me how to cook things that I mean, most of our moms can cook way better than I can. And so just little things like that it's changed how I speak to people, how I slow down and listen to people, how I try to hear what they're saying, but also what they're not saying. It's changed the way I parent. It's changed everything about me.
So do you feel like that's what success actually looks like for a mom that goes through your program? Is that an example, or do you have a better example?
I think success, each one is different and unique, right? Because each one has their own story and their own trauma to overcome and to heal from and to process through. But I think a change in direction, right? A new path with dreams, like they've never really dreamt
Yeah.
until they come. And they have a space to dream and to imagine what a new life could look like. And when these mamas leave, I think watching them go in a new direction, a new path with dreams that they didn't have, they didn't believe in themselves, and now they do, and now they can go, and they can do, and they can achieve, and they can become, and they're nurses or teachers or entrepreneurs or cooks. I think that's, to me.
That's awesome.
I love that.
What gaps in the system? Probably a lot, right? What gaps in the system do you believe that organizations like Selah Creek are feeling right now?
That's a really great question. All of these questions are so fantastic. Gaps in the system. So a few years ago, Roe v. Wade was overturned, right? Nationally. And then in Texas, within the last couple of years, we have seen abortion laws really tighten up, which we're thankful for. But it does provide a very specific, unique problem. Not problem. I shouldn't use the word problem. Now we have more women. Challenge, thank you. Now we have even more women, even abortion-minded women, who cannot seek those services in Texas. So we need more housing. We significantly need more housing. We always have a wait list pretty much at Selah Creek. And
How many do you house there?
we can house 3 moms, 3 babies in our home right now.
Okay.
But we are very connected to a lot of the other homes in our community in the state of Texas, in Dallas, and in the United States. And everybody sees the same thing that we see, which is the need is very great. And every maternity home or aftercare home, if you want to call it that, has a different thing that they do really well. But the problem is that there's not enough beds. So we fill a gap in that.
Yeah.
What do you wish that communities better understood about women that you serve and who are facing unplanned pregnancies?
That there's a bigger need in our community for it than they realize. And that this is truly, for those who are pro-life, pro-mama, pro-baby. This is a growing, an ever-growing need, and if we want to impact those future generations and serve those mamas, we need to offer hope.
Yeah.
We need to have homes, not just Selah Creek, but I think we could have one on every corner.
Wow. That kind of leads me to my next question, which was, how has the demand for your services really increased? And really, what does that say about our society, our community?
It's increased based on Texas. It's illegal to have abortions in Texas, and that passed first, and then Roe v. Wade was overturned. And so we have seen, I mean, 100% increase in people who are calling for services.
That makes me very curious. What do you see for Selah Creek 10 years from now, based on some of the information that you just told us?
We want to be a staple in the middle of Rockwall. We want to have a home serving 15, 20 women in Rockwall.
And if you're thinking, there's no way there's that many women in Rockwall. There are.
Yes.
There
Of
are.
course there are.
And not just Rockwall, but again, over in Hunt County, Kaufman County, Dallas County, we serve women all over the place, but there's enough in Rockwall County.
Yeah.
But we would love to have a home where we're serving, again, 15, 20 women for a year at a time, and then having an apartment complex where they move out and they live there for 5 years. While, again, they continue to have support with the community. They continue to have a program, accountability, community, right? And the community can actually pour into and serve that apartment complex and those women and those babies. And when they leave that, they have been being served, supported, and have community at a level that
And the women in turn serve the community as well. They become a
absolutely.
part
Yeah.
of the community.
good jobs in the community, serving the community again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a full circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be the hope.
Yeah, that's our hope. That's
Okay,
our
I'm going
hope.
to end with this question. It's important. What would you say to the woman who's listening right now, who feels like she has nowhere to go?
And is pregnant. It's really complicated. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations. How can I help you?
Oh.
Oh,
See, that gave me
they
chills.
gave me chills.
Yeah.
I think they make the hair grow back on my legs.
That's awesome.
Honestly, how can I help you is one of the most disarming and compassionate phrases that I've personally experienced that makes me feel like I'm safe enough to say what I really need. And so, how can I help?
Love
awesome.
that. What a beautiful thing.
Well, before we end, is there anything else you want to share? This is your time.
We have a community concert coming up on
yeah?
April 18th. At Smoke Monkey at 6:30.
Fundraiser.
It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be laid back. Show up, shorts, flip-flops, relaxed. The community's going to be there.
Great bands.
Great bands.
bands.
Great food.
Great food, great
That's
bands. It's going to be a great time to just show up as a community.
And kids are allowed to come.
Yes,
Yes.
kids are welcome, family
I
friendly.
know this because I'm
Yeah,
kind of
they're
helping out
helping.
with it with Maya.
Absolutely.
All right.
So kids 5 and under are free.
Awesome.
And we would love to have the community there and just supporting moms and babies and showing up.
Good. Well, thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you
for
for your
having
time.
us.
So
This
much.
was
Having
fun.
us.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your journey
you.
that got us here.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Kevin and Ashley, for joining us today at the Network Blender. We'd like to ask you a couple questions. One of mine is, what are the most challenging things that you guys face with each other, working together and having to come home to each other without starting a fight?
Well, I'm spicy. I've been told that I'm a little spicy. So conversations turn to arguments faster than they would if you just worked together, but then didn't also come home together.
Right.
So that's a fun one.
Yeah.
We have to learn how to turn it off because when we get home, because if not, we'll just bicker about, normal married stuff and then also ministry in addition to that. What else?
I think it was harder at the beginning because we each had our very strong opinions. And I think we've just realized that as long as we're heading in the same direction, it doesn't really matter how we get there, as long as we head in that direction.
That's great counsel. It really
That's
is.
also because
Yeah,
we've
that's
been married
great.
22 years, and
Right.
there's just some things after a while that
Yep.
you're just like,
I'm
nah,
like,
I'm
I
not going
don't-
to fight about that.
I don't
That's
care.
right. That's
I do
right.
not
I'm
care.
still learning the turn it off part because
Yeah,
I also
it's-
work with
Yeah.
my husband. So.
Yeah.
It's, that's how I turn it off sometimes.
So let me ask, what are two fun facts about you guys that not a lot of people know?
Okay, so we both grew up in Garland.
Okay.
So that's a whole story in and of itself. But the way that we met was okay, don't judge us because this was the 90s. I went to Planet Tan to go get a tanning membership, and Kevin was working there.
All right.
And that's how we met. Although I do miss a good tanning bed nap, but we don't tan anymore.
Right, got it. The whole skin cancer thing
I
is
mean,
kind of a
I
reality.
guess.
So,
And that
all
was
right.
the very first business I ever bought, was my own tanning salon.
Okay,
Most
good.
people
to
do
know.
not know that about me, but I bought a tanning salon when I was 20 years old.
All right, what else? What else is something?
Well, you shift to the opposite extreme
Right.
of owning a tanning salon to now we live in the country with a bunch of kids and cows, chickens, horses,
Right.
dogs, and cats.
No tanning beds, just
No,
animals.
I'm
Just
still
animals.
Right.
I'm still waiting for them to come out with like an appropriately legal and healthy tanning bed, and then I would have one for sure.
Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you very much for sharing your time with us today, sharing your story. We're so completely supportive of everything that you guys do, and we're just so blessed to have you on the program.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having us,
Yeah.
and thank you for supporting moms and babies.
Thank you to Shenanigans for allowing us to host our mixer every single month. We really appreciate it.
So fun.
And don't forget to join us at our mixer at Shenanigans, 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at the Z Lounge on April 27th.
And a special shout out and thank you to the Hub here in Fate, Texas, for allowing us to record this show every month on the first Monday.
And I'm Tammy Escobedo.
Maya Krause.
Kim Johnson.
And I'm Scott Dodson.
We are
the Network Blender.